Russian President Vladimir Putin held a meeting on Thursday with top government officials on the upcoming summit with U.S. President Trump in Alaska. According to Associated Press, in a short video of the opening remarks released by the Kremlin, Putin said that Trump's administration is making, in my opinion, quite energetic and sincere efforts to stop the hostilities, stop the crisis and reach agreements that are of interest to all parties involved in this conflict in order to create long-term conditions of peace between our countries, and in Europe, and in the world as a whole, if we reach agreements in the area of control over strategic offensive weapons at the next stage. Trump's meeting in Alaska with Putin on Friday could be a decisive moment in the war in Ukraine. The meeting is scheduled to take place Friday at Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson in Anchorage, according to a White House official who spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss internal planning. The base, created by merging Elmendorf Air Force Base and Army Fort Richardson in 2010, has played a key strategic role in monitoring and deterring the Soviet Union during much of the Cold War.
Уважаемые коллеги, добрый день. Попросил вас сегодня собраться для того, чтобы проинформировать о том, как идет переговорный процесс по украинскому кризису, как идут переговоры в двухстороннем формате с украинской делегацией. Так или иначе, многие из присутствующих знают, разумеется, в общих чертах, но я расскажу поподробнее. Это первое. И второе, рассказать о том, на каком этапе мы находимся с американской администрацией сегодняшней, которая, как всем хорошо известно, предпринимает, на мой взгляд, достаточно энергичные и искренние усилия для того, чтобы прекратить боевые действия, прекратить кризис и выйти на договоренности, представляющие интерес для всех вовлеченных в этот конфликт сторон, для того, чтобы создать долгосрочные условия мира и между нашими странами, и в Европе, да и в мире в целом, если мы к следующим этапам выйдем на договоренности в области контроля над стратегическими наступательными вооружениями.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky joined German Chancellor Friedrich Merz in Berlin on Wednesday for talks with European and U.S. leaders ahead of a Trump-Putin summit later this week, the German government said. According to Associated Press, Merz convened a series of virtual meetings on Wednesday in an attempt to have the voice of European and Ukraine's leaders heard ahead of the summit in Alaska, where U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin are expected to discuss a path toward ending Moscow's war in Ukraine. Zelensky and the leaders of European countries have all been sidelined from that summit. Zelensky is due to meet European leaders first, in preparation for a virtual call with Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance about an hour later. A call between leaders of countries involved in the coalition of the willing, those who are prepared to help police any future peace agreement between Moscow and Kiev, will take place last. When Zelensky last visited Berlin in late May, Merz pledged to help Ukraine develop its own long-range missile systems that would be free of any Western-imposed limitations on their use and targets. The Ukrainian leader on Wednesday said his government has had over 30 conversations with partners ahead of the summit in Alaska, but reiterated his doubt that Putin would negotiate in good faith. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Wednesday arrived in Berlin for talks with the German Chancellor and virtual meetings with U.S. President Donald Trump and other European leaders ahead of Friday's planned summit between Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. According to Associated Press, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz convened the virtual meetings in an attempt to make sure European and Ukraine's leaders are heard ahead of the summit in Alaska, where Trump and Putin are expected to discuss a path toward ending Moscow's war in Ukraine. Zelensky and the Europeans have been sidelined from that summit. German government spokesperson Stefan Meyer said the intention of Wednesday's meetings was to make clear the position of the Europeans. Zelensky met with European leaders first, in preparation for the virtual call with Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance about an hour later. A call among leaders of countries involved in the coalition of the willing, those who are prepared to help police any future peace agreement between Moscow and Kiev, will take place last. The Ukrainian leader on Wednesday said his government has had over 30 conversations with partners ahead of the summit in Alaska, but reiterated his doubt that Putin would negotiate in good faith. Trump has said he wants to see whether Putin is serious about ending the conflict, now in its fourth year, describing Friday's summit as a feel-out meeting where he can assess the Russian leader's intentions. Yet Trump has disappointed allies in Europe by saying Ukraine will have to give up some Russian-held territory. He has also said Russia must accept land swaps, although it was unclear what Putin might be expected to surrender. European allies have pushed for Ukraine's involvement in any peace talks, fearful that discussions that exclude Kyiv could otherwise favor Moscow.